If you're a foreigner and you're thinking about banking in the United States, Trump's presidency could be the perfect time for you to go about opening an account, especially if you've struggled to open accounts before or you're looking for crypto-friendly banking. And there's 4 major changes and trends that we're watching that we think could make US banking better and easier for foreigners to access. Starting with change number 1, which is a reset in bank regulations. Or at least that's what many folks in the financial sector are already expecting from Trump's second term as president. And while we'll have to wait to see just how much of a reset we actually get, most senior people in finance are expecting a shift towards lighter regulations and less oversight. And that means banks could be more relaxed in terms of capital requirements, they may face less regulatory burden, and they may even be able to be more flexible when it comes to which customers that they accept, like foreigners. But I'm gonna dig into that a little bit more in a second. First, I wanna touch on major change number 2, which we think will have a direct impact on how willing banks are to accept new customers, including foreign non-residents just like you. And this change that I'm talking about is a huge increase in bank M&A activity. Now, this might seem like an odd trend for us to be watching when we're discussing banking for foreigners in the US, but right now we're hearing a lot of chatter about bank consolidation over the next few years, especially when it comes to small and mid-sized US banks. And for foreign non-residents who might be interested in banking in the US, this increase in M&A activity could be very interesting. That's because when M&A deal activity starts ramping up, you'll find that banks, they want to bolster their balance sheets, diversify customer portfolios, and even lock customers into longer-term products. All things that make the bank look better from a financial and even risk perspective when they sit across the table from a potential suitor in an M&A deal. So as a foreign non-resident, the key takeaways here are that US banks could be hungry for new deposits from diverse customer sources. They could also be interested in onboarding new customers who can commit to larger balances, especially if those balances are held on a fixed basis for long periods of time. And wanting clients who can qualify for financing and other products and services. Plus, compliance teams, they may be encouraged to take a second look at some of those harder to bank customer profiles, assuming that they're otherwise a good fit for the bank. But remember, in this trend, we're only talking about M&A activity, so we're talking about existing US banks. And there's another really important trend that we're watching that could completely change the landscape of US banking for foreigners. What I'm talking about is the possibility of new US banks entering the market. Now, this would be a major change of course for US banking. And if new banks do get the green light, it could open the door for a lot more innovation, which we expect would bring new opportunities for foreigners. The current banking landscape in the US is the result of regulators focusing on mergers instead of new entrants. Plus, there's been a lot of hesitation when it comes to digital banking, which is why we have a lot of the problems that we've had over the last year and a half. And US banking regulation is divided across a handful of federal and state agencies, making it super difficult to get new licenses in the first place. So the hope is that Trump's administration will clear the way for new institutions. And depending on who you talk to, this could involve really specific use cases. Think crypto-related institutions, like national trusts that offer custody at the commercial banking level, which can then trickle down to individual consumers. And that could be especially interesting for foreigners who are looking to open with major banks in pro-crypto jurisdictions, since foreign non-residents can already open accounts with these major banks in the United States. And that ties into the 4th major trend that we're watching, which is a pro-crypto and pro-fintech stance in the world of US banking. This is a big one, and it could impact both foreign non-residents and foreign non-resident businesses. And that's because regulators are expected to take a more open stance towards crypto-backed banks, fintech applications, and other digital banking solutions. But why is this so important? Well, even right now, US fintech platforms are the first stop for foreign-owned companies, and this includes both US companies like US LLCs and C Corps, as well as certain foreign entities like BVI, Cayman, and UAE structures. And if a pro-crypto and pro-fintech approach to regulation and banking is adopted in the United States, it's possible that we'll start to see even more options for foreign businesses start to pop up, including options with lower deposit levels and direct integration with payment processing for foreign-owned US companies, leading to various other benefits like faster business setup and of course access to one of the most sophisticated banking markets on the planet. Now, there are other major catalysts and developments that we'll closely be watching over the next few years, including major regulatory changes. This could directly impact bank priorities and shift attention away from deposits and back towards lending. So it wouldn't necessarily help the average foreigner living outside of the US, but if you're a foreign non-resident who can qualify for loans and you want to build a portfolio of US real estate, this could be an interesting time to start considering it. And beyond borrowing, reduced regulation and capital requirements in the banking sector also means more competition. And as I said earlier, it will likely mean that US banks will be hungrier for new deposits from diverse customer sources. So whether you're a foreign non-resident entrepreneur looking for a banking partner or an individual looking for a stable place to park some money, this could be an interesting time to consider banking in the US. But it's important to remember, deregulation isn't without risks. And everywhere in the world, not just in the US, banks do fail. So if you are a foreign non-resident who is considering opening a US bank account, you should never exceed the $250,000 deposit amount that is insured by the FDIC in a single account. It's also important to choose the best possible bank for your profile, because not all US banks onboard foreign non-residents and their businesses. Now, if you want to know whether you can even qualify to open a US bank account, there's a fast way to go about this, and then there's a slow way to do it. The slow way is you contact all US banks by yourself and try to get answers from whoever picks up the phone when you reach the switchboard, which is not going to be very effective. But there is a fast way. It's 100% free and it takes less than 2 minutes. And then you'll get an answer on whether you can open in the US for yourself or for your company based on your profile, desired deposit level, and the type of services you want to access. All you have to do is click that link in the description or go to globalbanks.com/USA. Complete a free assessment. Our team will respond within 24 hours telling you if you have any US banking options available. And that includes both in-person and 100% remote online opening options as a foreign non-resident. Now, like I said, it's 100% free and it only takes you 2 minutes to find out if you can access one of the best banking hubs on the planet. So go ahead, visit globalbanks.com/USA or click the link in the description below. And when you're done, come back here so I can tell you the craziest thing that I've ever said about US banking in this video, including why you do not need to